Yo guys, what's up? We are back in the shop. We are round 1 through 3 done of the Pro-Am stuff. Super stoked. The car, this is the current state of the car sitting after round 3. I'm missing an Aerowolf wing plate, nor I have it. I hit the outer clipping zone so many times that it actually pulled the studs out the end of the wing. So I gotta like basically just DA this flat again because they're kind of pulled out a little bit, messed up. Press new studs in, probably just like JB weld them in or something. We'll make that work. My new gutter splitters. I hit a cone here, broke this in the end. So I'm probably just gonna replace this side. The other side over here, good cone. So, but this one is easy. It's not broken. I can just bend it back out. This side's still good. We got a whole lot of a clipping zone right here, all up on the side. I lost both side moldings on the rear bumper. All this stuff stayed in because I nut-sittered it and bolted it. But it's looking like more and more like a drift car every event. I tell you what, that shifter right there, this bad boy, the sickest thing ever. It's so nice. Just bangs into gears like super well. It feels you're confident that it's in gear and it's not going to come out. Literally best purchase ever. If you need one, hit up Condor Speed Shop because they got them. If you noticed, which you didn't because I didn't show you, now I'm showing you. There's an empty slot right there. That is the slot for my ECU, DME, whatever BMW you guys want to call it. I shipped it out to Jordan at RK Tunes. He's putting a new tune on it. I have like a communication deal with whatever my ports are. It's not cooperating, so I just shipped him the ECU. He's putting a tune on it, a little bit modified. We're gonna get it back. Hopefully we're gonna make some pops and bangs, maybe shoot some flames. So that's a good, exciting. Next, my turbo. It's wonderful. Love this turbo. It spools quick, all that, fine and dandy. We're gonna take it off. But don't worry, we're putting a new turbo back on. I'll show you that in a little bit. Downpipe, it's 2.5 inch, it's too small. We're taking that off. We're doing some exciting stuff. So in addition to telling you guys that a new turbo setup is what I'm doing, a new turbo setup is what I'm doing. That's what I'm relaying to you guys. So some more details. So what the plan is I have the new turbo, it's here. I do not have it in the garage, but I will show you sometime throughout this video. There is a new downpipe that is going to be made for this car at National Speed here in Wilmington, North Carolina. They did my full stainless exhaust on the setup I currently have. They did a phenomenal job. They have a dyno and all this stuff. So ECU sent out to Jordan from RK Tunes. He's putting a new tune on it. It's gonna be nasty. I got a new turbo from Garrett, ball bearing, GTX 35R, GTX 3582R with 82 hot side, and it's gonna be sick. We're gonna make more power right off the bat just from switching to that. It's still gonna be cooled the same. Everything is good. Our intercooler still can keep up with it. Piping is good. We're jumping from a 2.5 inch to a 3 inch downpipe, and which is going to be a huge boost in horsepower. I'm going to be able to run more boost without my exhaust temps getting too high. The engine is already ready for more power, so yeah, it's a big jump. It's a big deal. We're bringing the car there. They're doing the new downpipe. I'm going to have the turbo already on the car. They're going to hook it up to the exhaust that they made, and then hopefully I have the ECU back by then because we're putting the car on the dyno, and we're going to see what it makes. Another thing, we have the VS caps on the front. I am running adapters at the moment, like just small 13 mil adapters. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw my post of all these wheels. Thank you 3-Piece for being the hookup and sponsoring me. These two right here are spare fronts. Everything else is rears. Sorry, all this news is coming at one time because I suck at making videos sometimes. We are also going to Tuner Evo in Charlotte, which is the 20, I don't know, it's the 20 something. I'll put it on the screen because I can't remember right now. We're going to that bad boy, so hopefully The car is retuned, new turbo, new downpipe. We have the hubs, we have the re-drilled hubs. I have all my 5x114 wheels on. I'm really thinking about putting my full set of polished SSR Vienna Schnitzes on all the way around. Right now I have 17s on, so basically for the car show, I would throw on 18s. I would put a different tire on, one that I wouldn't drift, and just give it a little bit more stance, a little bit more show car, just for the only indoor car show I'm gonna hit this year. Enough of this ridiculous talking. I'm really sorry we're starting this out like this. I am going to be taking off the turbo. That's what we're gonna do now, is we're gonna pop all the lines off, because I also have to transfer all of my fittings that are in the center of the turbo for cooling. I have to transfer those to the new turbo. I believe I do have to make a new oil return line, because mine's kind of leaking, and it's not out of the fitting, it's out of where the hose meets the fitting. So I'll show you the guys when I pull that out. So we're gonna try to remedy that by making a new hose, hopefully making it better, and that's the plan. So right here, starting this off, you can see I have all like this heat wrap around here. I'm gonna pull all this off, cut all the zip ties. We'll pop off. I'll pull all the lines off with. So the easiest thing to do for most of these is basically pull both my water and oil lines off of where they go into the engine. And then once I have the turbo off and on the bench, which I need to clean, then I'll pull all these fittings out, and it'll be way easier. Alright, so sorry, I changed lenses. I totally forgot I had my big lens on. That viewer probably zoomed up in my face. But we got the good one on again. Turbo came off. Definitely you can see on the oil return, like I said, this is all steel braided stainless, and it's literally covered in oil. So there's definitely a leak up here by the turbo, and definitely down here as well. So this line needs to be remade. I'm pretty sure I have the hose. I'll just buy a new fitting done. I might even have this fitting, this dash 10 fitting, so that's the other replaced. I have to pull off all the fittings that come out of here, because the fittings, this is a Garrett, I'm putting it into a Garrett, so all the fittings will go right in. Everything else is good. The water lines are good, that never leaked. This oil supply line was good. I mean, the turbo, everything on this turbo is still golden. I mean, there's no play in the shaft, everything's good. I do have to get this bolt out. Like I said, there's a bolt stripped inside of here. I gotta pull that out. I'll fix that, I'll heel coil it, all this stuff. I may put this turbo, now I was thinking, I could sell this, or I could put it on my 240. I could put this right on the K. The K deserves a nice turbo, so we'll see, unsure. But you'll see, this downpipe isn't huge, like lengthwise, but it's only 2-inch. We're going to 3-inch, we're going big. The new turbo's got V-band here, way nicer. I bought a new O2 sensor for this computer. Here is a new innovative, this is for my wideband gauge sensor. They go bad like so quick, so this is a new one for that. We're gonna replace that because the one in my car doesn't work. And I gotta clean all this stuff up. If anyone, I've had a couple people ask me the track. This is the CX Racing turbo manifold. I got it all heat wrapped and everything, because there's definitely heat issues that can happen underneath the hood, hence why I got my huge vent. The only thing is this pipe right here that basically is for the wastegate. This distance creates boost creep. And it's not much if you have, now I blew an engine because I had the 38mm wastegate on. I jumped up to the 44 and I almost got rid of all the boost creep. But so that was definitely my fault on that deal. But the hood exit probably helps that I'm not, you know, taking a long route underneath. It could just get diverted right back into the exhaust, but I chose to go this route because it's sick and I like it. But you can definitely tell it still gets hot. You actually can kind of see it in the camera. This started black, just like the blow-off valve did, and you can see that it's like kind of brown now. So, but she gets hot down there. The fitting's a little discolored too. But so I'm gonna actually pull the wastegate out too, and I'm gonna put 12-pound springs in. Right now there's 8s, and I had it turned up on top of that. So I'm gonna put 12-pound springs in and start at 12 psi. It'll probably creep up to like 14 or 15. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see. I know the GTX turbos, they're also like just built a little bit differently. So that's why I'm gonna start low and go up from there. So I don't just like, oh, I wanna run 18 psi or 20 psi. So I set it to that and we hit like 30 and then we blow up the engine again. So we're not gonna do that. We're gonna start low and go up there. I mean, there's a reason why we're putting the car on the dyno. So we're moving. All right, skipped ahead another day. Turbo's out I did take the little coupler off here. There was a little bit of rubber tucked in here, but it was sealed off from going in anywhere, so that's kind of cool. I do have to take off all these fittings. Like I said, we're gonna remake this bottom line. I cleaned up. Look at this. Look at. I even swept the floor. Look at all the. So clean. Back here, I had stuff scattered everywhere. Now I can actually use my tire machine. I'm putting all like the parts I'm taking off in one spot so I don't mess up anything. My toolbox is always a mess, but I mainly use my dad's anyway. So let's dive into pulling all the lines off this bad boy. Also, quickly before we do that, hell yeah! Alright, so I think I found the culprit of the leaking oil return is right there. The gasket took a crap. It was like, it's not even on the bottom of the actual oil line, it's just gone. So there was my problem. So it's possible that the top of the line wasn't leaking, it was just leaking down. I do still think this part of the line is jacked up, so I'm gonna either redo it, I'm not sure yet, but got all the lines off this, and yeah, we're looking good. I think the next thing to do is unbox that bad boy. And I know we're gonna have to clock the turbo a little bit different than when it comes like basic. Basically, this is parallel with the bottom of this. So we'll have to move it a little bit, but let's unbox this thing. Let's see it. If I can somehow pull this off. Boom. There's the fresh GTX turbo. Let's pull this thing out of the bag. So here you go. This is what a brand new Garrett GTX 35R turbo looks like, with the stainless exhaust housing. If you compare, this is bigger on this turbo than what I had on my other one. There's a lot more like polished pieces for sure. The whole inside of this looks way different. Everything spins beautifully. This is V-band. Before I was not rocking V-band, so now we got that going for us. This thing is sick. Other than that, all it came with was this little bag with that little gasket for the oil return and the 4-bolt for the manifold. That's all I needed right there, so that's sick. So I actually just took the turbo and held it right on the 4-bolt part of the manifold, and it fits. I was totally thinking I was gonna have to feed in this just a little bit. I mean, honestly, it fits almost better. I think the positioning of where this is in relation to like everything else on the exhaust manifold is just a little bit different than what it is on my other turbo that pushed it so hard into the strut tower. So that is awesome. Okay, so as exciting as this is, my dad actually went to get new bolts and all that stuff so we can put the turbo on with new hardware. Exciting as this turbo is, before I can put that in and mock it up and everything, I do want to pull off the valve cover like I said and retorque the head. So I'm going to set up the camera. We're basically going to pull the coil pack, the coil packs out, all the wiring. I'm going to have to adjust some of my heat wrap here, cut some zip ties, pull the valve cover off. We'll go through retorquing the head. We'll put the valve cover back on. Then we will put all of the lines back on this turbo. We'll, put the turbo on, and we'll be ready for the shop, to get the new downpipe and stuff. So we're gonna get there. So here you have underneath your valve cover on all the M50 up, all that stuff. They're all like the same, whatever. But this is the S52 forged cams. This is like where, I don't know if I ever explained it, but the second time I blew up my engine, these cam cap bolts weren't fully torqued by my engine builder. So one of the nuts came off, fell into one of these channels, the lobe came around and smacked it, and smacked, and so like literally snapped my cam in half, and it wrecked both cages and both cams. So it was pretty gnarly. Definitely never recommend doing that. So last time I got it built, even though I got the engine back, I pulled the valve cover off and double checked it. But now this plastic piece, this just pops off, and then basically through these channels, through the cages, you can see where your head bolts are, and there's a special sequence which I'll like overlay on the screen when we get to that. But yeah, here's your Vanos stuff up here. Okay, so we popped that plastic piece like I told you about. My dad got home and we ran through it already. Everything's good. You do have to turn, to get to all of them, you do have to turn the engine over, which basically, right there, you can kind of see it, that pulley. There's the, basically that's where you turn the engine over with the crank. There's that nut there, and the sequence, which I'll put it on the screen as well, so you guys can see that. It's what I had to use is I had to buy a DeWalt 12-point socket. This is like the only socket that I found that works with everything here. It took a little bit to find this one. You could probably order one as well, but this on this torque wrench with 75 foot-pounds. Now, because there's an extension, obviously it's not perfect, but all we're doing here is we're not setting the torque in the head, we're just double checking, making sure it's all tight. So that's what we did. Alright, so since I got the valve cover back on, everything's hooked up, I got to zip tie this on and stuff, but right now I want to get the turbo in place so I can start putting the lines on, because you can't loosen any of these bolts on the exhaust hosing up if you have your fittings and stuff in here. So it's the first thing we have to do. So you basically loosen up each one of these bolts all the way around, like a turn or a turn and a half, not more than that, and you can spin the whole thing. This will spin independently of this as well as the center. So I'm just going to clock this to where my other turbo was and then fine tweak it from there. Alright, so you just saw the turbo mocked up, everything fits nice. We got all new hardware, which is sitting right here. This is all stuff, and then I'll have spares as well. Put the turbo actually back in the bag that it came in because I was putting the lines on. I was starting with the water lines, and I knew, like, all this hose looks good, and you get up here, and I bent it the wrong way once and it cracked, which I'm glad I did it so we can replace it. So I gotta order new hose before I can finish this. So basically the only line technically I have for this one that's proper is the oil supply, the oil return I have to make new, and then both the water supply and return I have to make new. So I just put the turbo back, everything fits nice, we got the bolts for it, everything's way easier to get to, so I'm happy about that. The wastegate I popped off, it has the correct springs in it now, 12 psi, I gotta clamp that back together and bolt that on. Meanwhile, I said how I ripped off this end plate by hitting the clipping point, and it actually pulled the little studs out. So what my dad did was basically just JP weld them back in. He just put them in so those are drying, so then I'll be able to have both end plates again. And here is the dash 10 line for here that I found buried in a box somewhere hiding back there. So all I need to do is pop the fittings off both top and bottom, cut this to whatever length that is, and then I got myself a new line. Alright guys, and with that, I need lines. I already ordered them, don't worry, ordered lines. I did put the wastegate back together. I needed my dad's help to clamp this down. I have clamped this down by myself, put a screw in, and then while putting the other screw in, while still clamping, my hand slipped. There wasn't enough threads in here, and it went woof. It went launching across. Yeah, so don't do that. If you have someone to help you. If you have a big C-clamp, use it, something. This thing's intense. It's wild. But anyway, that's it for this video. I'm gonna close this one out. I really wanted to get the turbo on and get everything ready for national speed, but I'm just missing a few things. Things are coming, so the next video will probably be us finally getting the turbo on, making the new lines, putting the turbo on and having it ready for national speed, and then also hopefully I can get my rear hubs and we can mount and drill, which I don't know if you noticed here, drill press is for drilling the rear rotors. So one of the people I bought it from, they give me a template. So we got this bad boy, put the rear hubs on, mount up some wheels, get ready for Tuner Evo. I'm probably gonna do a combination of my work VSKFs and then probably the work Rezacs. We'll see. Maybe I'll put the 18s on. I don't know. We'll see. I gotta see what works. I might mount and dismount some tires. Benefit of having a tire machine. Anyways, I'm talking more and more and more. So I'm sorry. This is it. Make sure you go and check out my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, my YouTube. Everything is in the description. Check out my YouTube. You're on my YouTube. Nice. We're gonna end that video there. Peace.